Hello everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Find Ways to Win. I know it's been a little bit since I've been in you guys' households and cars and offices and wherever you are in the world. Just want to give a shout out to the new subscribers. Evidently, we have been have some people that's viewing onto the channel. It is picking up. I'm very grateful for that. A lot of things we can talk about, and it's a lot of content I need to bring to you, but we're going to start out just one thing at a time. This message is going to take me from a normal way, another way from what I normally want to go. So I want to talk about the importance of regaining your fire. Regaining your fire. Now, before some of you think about that title, that it's kind of elementary. It kind of speaks for itself. I want to put a new spin onto it. One thing I have observed by dealing with fire, growing up in the country, and we often lit fires. Fires with bringing wood to the fireplace, and I remember my great grandmother actually had a wood burning stove, and there's some experience with that down, and I have always been kind of a little fascinated with fire. But one thing I noticed is it has to constantly have a fuel source. Once the fuel source is exhausted within the fire, or you take that fuel source away, the fire is going to automatically diminish. It has to, in addition to having a fuel source, it has to have oxygen. It has to have something breathes into it, and it must take on air. And it must have, if it has fuel, it be able to have room to spread. Not unless it's in a controlled environment, say like a fireplace or a campfire, and things along those lines. Used in a control way, it could bring great comfort. It could bring heat. It could bring protection. It could bring all. It could bring the power to cook, the power to sterilize. It could bring so many benefits. But out of confined boundaries, left to its own, it could bring such complete destruction that it will absolutely amaze you and mystify you. That's what we're seeing sometimes with these giant forest fires, that happen especially in the western United States. So that's like a little introduction around that. But let's talk about more important thing: the fire that burns in your heart. Regaining your fire. Now, to regain the title is indicative. If you're regaining your fire, that's somewhere along you lost it. I hate to admit, but I'll share a little of my personal experiences. There have been times that I've lost my fire, or I allowed my fire to get so gradually low, so dangerously low. I might have it was almost but extinct. So when you lose your fire, you don't have any direction. You don't know which way you're going. You're just going in survival mode, just floating down, hoping something good is going to happen. Hoping you get a break instead of figuring out how to make breaks. Hoping that someone gives you that someone just takes care of you. You want to run from problems instead of chasing them down and trying to find solutions to overcome the problems. Where one time you knew for certain that you can overcome by working harder, working smarter, working more with intensity, or even sometimes less intensity. All of a sudden now you feel like you have the blinders on. You're in depression. You're in anxiety. You're in fear and all this, and sometimes you can actually even expect defeat to come, but where you would never thought about that in any other way. When your fire comes, you don't see how you can win, and when your fire goes out, rather, you don't know how you can win. You just don't see a way out, even though you have all these incredible blessings right around your life. You got good health, you got a good family, a support system, people who love you, people who believe in you, people who value, people who speak life, but you can't say because you're focusing on the problem too much. You're focusing on why you're not winning instead of really looking deep down to yourself, taking responsibility for the actions that you are doing or not doing that's bringing you the results of what are you currently getting. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a luck game. Life is a doing game. Life is a planning game. Life is a patience game. It's a game of strategy. It's a game of consistent and persistent. It's a game of putting in the work. It's a game of being about it. It's a game that you got to learn. You have to learn how to practice the amnesia effect. you have to forget, and you have to forget what things that what setbacks you have gone through. You have to learn the lessons from them, should I say? But you can't dare just go dwell on there that it has frees you from absolutely moving. So we're going to talk about ways to get your fire back and raise to regain that fire, so you can go on and live the life that you want, that God has placed you on the earth, and that you got to love the work, and you have to love the grind, and you have to be so impassioned about winning, and so impassioned about seeing a vision, creating a better life for yourself. You have to see yourself as a winner. You got to speak that, you got to believe that, but you got to keep doing consistent, constant action in order to make this come. Life is not a genie in a bottle, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like you get three wishes and you rub and you rub and get three more. And yep, it doesn't work like that. You have got to constantly put that work in. It has to be well thought out. It has to be broken down into action steps and plans and targets that you get hit. Celebrating the small targets and the little things that's gonna fuel fuel more fire in you. You accomplish something, okay, you feel good about that. Then you accomplish another thing, you feel good about that. You're building blocks onto it. So let's talk about how to get out this minutia of life. The first thing to get out the minutia of life is, okay, you took that L, you took that loss. Okay, that's over. You can't go back in the past and change it even if you wanted to. So let that go. I mean, so someone left you. You didn't get the promotion. You got fired. You got downsized. You had a sickness. You moved to a place. It don't seem to look like things are working out. You're at an age. You're not as far as you want to be and stuff like that. Okay, forget about all that. And trust me, that is not always the easiest thing, but you got to do it, because you can't be sit around being anchored in your past and expect to move forward in your future. It simply won't work like that. Your past will always keep you anchored in the present, and you're not doing anything but wasting time. So you gotta have a quick amnesia. You gotta forget about your failures, learn from them, study them in a way that you say, like, okay, I won't cross this bridge again. But what you want to do is you want to learn the lessons that it takes, for us, for you to make better choices, you to make better impacts in your life, to move it forward from going on there. Going forward, should I say? Now, number two, you got to get your accountability group. You can't isolate yourself. Oh man, do I know about that? You're trying to isolate yourself. Trying to go in a cave, like David did when he went in the cave of Adullam. Because he was weary of Saul kept chasing him and trying to kill him and things like that. But the funny thing is about the cave and isolating, you don't have anybody to hold you accountable. You don't have anybody to hold you. Say, okay, get up. It's time to move. If when you're in the cave of despair, depression, you seem to move when you feel like moving. Feel like it. You don't have anybody pushing you. You don't have anybody. You don't have anybody holding you accountable, and causing you to move in ways that's gonna prosper your life and benefit your life. Staying still is not an option. You could stay. You could stay quiet for a moment, only to reflect and only to get your battle planned up. But sooner or later, you're going to have to get out there and do something. You're going to have to get out there and act. And there's no substitute for doing the work. You're just going to have to learn how to do that. You have that accountability group, and they are people who are there to push you. Everyone needs someone in their lives like that. Maybe you have a mastermind group. Maybe you have one special person in your life, that really knows how to push you, really knows how to get you going, and doesn't get out there and basically just give you all kinds of dumb reasons why you can't do it, or better yet, they don't get down in the pit with you. They're tough, they're loving, but they expect more out of you, because sometimes you can lose your vision like that. Number three, you have to get around groups of people who are going the same way you're going. Like say, what you want to be an entrepreneur? Well, join some of these entrepreneur groups. You can find them at different meeting spectrums online, and you can connect with them. If you're into computers or IT, get around those type of groups. If you're into sales, marketing, get around those groups. If you're into networking, get around those groups. In other words, get around the fire that is burning for what you want to be. You have to have a vision board, and you have to have an image of what you see, and you got to get out there and engage your folks. And those are just some of the few ways. We could use exercise, we could use meditation, but somewhere along the line where you feel yourself going in that fluff and you feel your fire going out or diminishing or not as burning hot as it can, you got to get in there and put fuel in it. You got to find the fuel that causes you to go and causes you to run. Some of you may be money motivated. Those are great. Some of you may be motivated by taking nice vacations and seeing and traveling to different parts of the world. That'd be great. Hey man, I went back in May. I took a trip to Jakar Senegal, and that was just so invigorating to me. Maybe I'm going to sit there and talk about it on one of these streams. I just felt so good over there. My first trip to Africa, because number one, it's a place I want to be. Number two, I just had such an expectation of how it was going to be, and it exceeded the expectation, even what I thought it was going to be. And I just really felt good that I had accomplished one of my goals of actually going to Africa. And so much so it made me want to go back again. Ladies and gentlemen, we all are going to suffer setbacks. You will not always feel like you're on top of the world. You're going to make mistakes, and sometimes things are not going to work out. Sometimes the timing is not right. Sometimes the partnership is not right. Sometimes your health is going to fail you. Sometimes, the finances is not going to come in consistently as much as you think it will. But you have to be consistent in your work. You have to have B plans, not B plans for the goal, B plans to accomplish the goal. You have to get good at talking to people, and you got to get good at especially talking to yourself. Because you look at this, failure is not an option. The time is going by. I mean, all while you're sitting there talking and thinking about it, someone's doing it, and someone's exceeding it, exceeding what you're talking about doing, simply because they're applying action while you're sitting up there thinking about that. No more of these things, man. It is time out for us, but to put up with our own excuses. You got to get doggone real to yourself. I mean, what's your trigger? What causes you to quit? What causes you to back off at the edge of victory? What causes you to pick it up and put it down, pick it up and put it down, pick it up and put it down? Is it really get you where you want? Are you really achieving the results you want? For me, it has been an emphatic no. I mean, should I be further along than what I think I should? Of course. But I have to ask myself, have I put the corresponding work in to be further along? And a lot of times I have to look at myself in the mirror. No, you haven't put in that consistent work. Well, don't be surprised with the results that you're getting. We can all change our mind, but one decision. But making a decision is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to put in the work. You have got to put in the work, because the work is the fuel to your fire. I say again, the work is the fuel to your fire, not necessarily the vision. You can write the vision and make it plain, and that you can run what reason, and the Bible says that, write the vision and make it plain. Okay, you know where you're going to go, that you can run. Run is the work. You got to run towards what you want. You got to run towards what you want to be. You got to do the right steps. And your experience and failure, learn from this, learn from those, to learn how to operate and work in a more intelligent, surgical way, so you can shorten those results. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like and share. And if we give you good content or something that's interesting, consider sharing this with someone else, and subscribing yourself. We appreciate you. Until next time, thank you again for tuning in to Find Ways to Win. I'm your host, FitzgeraldStephens. I appreciate you listening.